Hey friends, if you're like me, today has been another day where your news feed has just been blowing up, massive information and all of this. Everything seems to be shifting right now. And so we have some logistical information that I want to get out to you. But before we do that, can we just push pause for just a moment? Let's just exhale, okay, and take a minute. I want to share with you. This is out of my quiet time, some of my life journaling time the last couple weeks. The Lord dropped this verse in here, and I think it's applicable to today. The psalmist says in Psalm 139 and verse 5, he says this, it's a prayer. He says, "You, God, you have enclosed me behind and before, and you laid your hand on me." Let me read that again. He says, "You have enclosed me behind and before, and you've laid your hand on me." I think part of the fear and part of the stress that we're feeling is like, everything's closing in on me. I can't do this and I can't go here. And what about this? And what are we going to do with this? And we feel like kind of trapped in. And the psalmist just says this, we are enclosed, but we're enclosed by God. Like he's behind us and he's before us. And I love this line. He says, "You laid your hand on me." You remember when you were a kid and maybe there was an adult that you respected in your life or somebody stronger in your life, maybe it was a mom or dad, and maybe you just kind of had a season where you're just like, I'm scared or whatever, and they would just take their hand and just lay it on your shoulder. Never happened to you? And the thought of an adult or a father or a mother like putting their hand on your shoulder just kind of calmed you down. And you're like, okay, it's gonna be all right because my dad's here or my mom's here. Like they're with me in this proximity. There's a little bit of even the hand on your shoulder, they were kind of like before you and behind you. And listen, the Lord's just saying this, like, it's gonna be okay. I have my hand on your shoulder, like it's gonna be all right. I'm with you in the middle of the storm. So let's just take a deep breath. We're gonna get through this. And so listen, it's gonna be okay. Everything's shifting, but it's gonna be okay. Now, some of the shifts that have happened are causing us to shift the way that we do ministry and the way that we engage with each other and the way that we engage our faith. And so you've probably heard from our governor who has said he strongly recommends that restaurants and bars only serve takeout. And so that's happening as we speak. And the CDC came out late, I think last night, and said limited to groups of 50. And then today said the president and I think it was the president, some other officials said, we really suggest that groups are in no more than groups of 10. So what does all that mean for MCC? Well, here's what that means. Our ministry, we're not stopping ministry. We're just doing it a different way, okay? We're not closing, we're just doing something different. All of our ministry events that take place on our physical campuses are temporarily suspended at those physical locations, okay? We're gonna continue to offer most of those ministries online. Okay, so you just need to be watching for how do I do this ministry online? Some of them we just need to postpone for a little bit, but for a lot of them we're doing them online. Some of you have questions about small groups. What does that mean for my small groups? Well, our small group gatherings, we're pushing those to online. Okay, so you're gonna be able to engage online still with your small group. And you may think, well, man, this would be a great time for me to be in a small group, but I guess I can't sign up for small groups. Actually, you can. You can sign up to be a part of an online small group where you can still interact with people and you can still learn. There's more information that's below this at a link. You can go through and find out all that information. Weekly, we're still gathering with each other online with a weekly sermon and our weekly worship time. It's together. And if you were with us yesterday, right, Sunday, man, what a great time to interact. We had tons of interaction going back and forth as we're teaching and we're leading worship, and that's coming into living rooms. And so you're going to want to still be a part of that. And we're going to ask that you would share that with your plus one, because this is a great time to invite people into the middle of that. Can I encourage you also, and we've talked about this before, but this is not a time for us to throttle back our giving. This is actually a time for us to throttle up our giving, and here's why. Most people, when they get scared, feel like everything's closing in on me, but we have to remember the Lord's got us, right? But we think everything's closing in on me, so I'm gonna have to hold on to my money. Well, it's not our money. And so this is not the time to throttle back our giving. This is actually the time to throttle up our giving. So here at Maryland, we've taken a hard look with all of our staff and leaders and said, hey, let's cut back on anything that we don't need to do spending-wise. Let's tighten our belt a little bit, but we still have bills and obligations that we're going to meet. We still have mission partners that we still want to support. In addition to that, we're going to have a lot of people who say, man, I've hit a hard time. I've got a utility bill that I need paid. Can the church help me with that? I've got some childcare issues. I've got some food issues. Can the church help me with that? We still want to be in a position to help people with that. So could I ask you to make this bold move? And that is this. Could you move your giving to online? Could you move your giving to online? It means that you're giving not through the plate, not through check in the mail, but through online. I touched my face again. Don't do that. Steph and I made a decision a long time ago to move our giving to online. And what that's done for us is that's just automated the process, because we're like, God, the first belongs to you and it's going to you. And so this is just automatically going to be going to you. So we never miss our giving because it's all done online. So you can find information on that through our MCC app. So just open up the app, find a tab that says Give Online, and there'll be specific instructions there on how to do that. So listen, as crazy and maddening as all of this might be, it gives this beautiful opportunity for us to be the church really in a brand new culture, in a brand new shifting and changing landscape. And so we're continuing to experiment with that. I know you're continuing to experiment with that. And while we, a couple of weeks ago, we're one church in multiple locations, now we're one church in many homes. We are one church in many homes. And listen, it's going to be all right. The Lord has us. And so we invite you to continue to partner together and let's just draw into each other. Even if we have to socially distance from each other, we're still going to draw in and draw closer to each other. And we're going to take this great life-changing message to as many people as we can. You're going to continue to hear from us in a bunch of different updates and a bunch of different resources. And so stay tuned for more to come.